So part one of the disappearing act was about I call it the outer game, about saying no. Part two of the disappearing act is about the inner game, because we all have an inner critic. We all have an ongoing inner monologue, and we repeat stories that don't lift us up. Due to the way our brain operates, we're continually scanning for threats, unconsciously looking for what's wrong and remembering past mistakes so we don't repeat them. It's automatic. But we can rewrite our inner monologue to lift us up instead of pulling us down. What are some of the limiting stories you tell yourself? What are some of the limiting phrases that you repeat in your mind? To make negative chatter disappear, you need new words and phrases to replace them so that when you recognize them popping into your head, you have a positive replacement ready to go. For example, when I began writing about practical magic several years ago, I caught myself saying in my mind, no one wants to hear what you have to say. And once I became aware of this, I was able to create a replacement phrase. I have valuable experiences and a new way of offering information that will help lots of people. That's my new phrase. So anytime I caught myself thinking that I had nothing worthwhile to say, I'd just quickly use the new positive phrase that I wrote. I'd let it sink in and get back to work. So take time to think about the limiting stories and phrases that you use, and then write positive replacements for them. I write my replacement phrases on 3x5 cards, and I keep them on my desk as I work so that when I become conscious of the limiting thoughts, I immediately read the uplifting phrases. And doing this over and over creates new connections in your brain so that you have positive thoughts prevail and replace the negative. It's important to remember that changing habits of thinking requires vigilance and it requires persistence. And you may have been unconsciously repeating limiting beliefs and thoughts and phrases and stories for years, maybe decades, and this will not change overnight. Now, another thing to consider when thinking about what needs to disappear are the negative influences in the form of relationships and other sources of negative energy, like the media. Think about sources of negative energy in your life, such as negative people, exposure to mainstream and social media. What negative influences do you want to make disappear? This is your disappearing act.